appreciate that from the police department and our public school system. And this is probably the 4th time I've seen his presentation now, and I can't quit telling people about it. And I'm really glad he's here. I don't know what happens if there's a 911 call, if you've got a jet, Jerry's got to leave instead or something like that.
Right. Thank you.
Preach, pray, die, or fill in on a moment's notice and respond to an emergency. But this presentation is all online, I've been telling people too. So you go home, we're going to film, but you go home, there's somebody, you can share it with them from online, and we'll let people know where this video recording is at too. So, Officer Honey, thank you. I'm going to give you that sanitary flu season handshake.
Good job. Thank you. As Pastor said, this is all online. This is what I feel is a very good program. It does a very good job of explaining things to different age groups. And I'd love to take a lot of the credit for it, but I can take none. I didn't produce it. I just put it out there. This is put on by the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, ICAC, and the Department of Homeland Security, and then our BCA with the state of Minnesota does a very good job of getting it and distributing it to us as officers so that we can bring it to our public and to our people. There's 3 different programs that Netsmartz deals with right now. One is for parents, just a program much like this. It's just a little bit more angled towards the parents, and then one for tweens, which is about a 4th, 5th grade level, 3rd or 4th grade level maybe. I have shown that a couple times at a couple of our of the elementary schools who had specific issues that they were having to deal with, and so they got a hold of me and said, could you bring in the elementary program of that so that we can, it gives us, I guess, a funnel in to talk. So we can use the video, we can use the PowerPoint, but it just opens the door for us to start communicating with young kids who are going through these type of issues. So, but this is for the teenagers, and this is something that I show to 8th graders. And quite honestly, they came in about 3 months ago out to the schools and said maybe we need to start showing this to 7th graders because we're starting to go backwards here. So I think this spring yet we'll be doing it in all the 7th grade classrooms and all the 8th grade classrooms at the middle schools. So, but it's good for parents, it's good for community to know what our youth are seeing, what they're having to deal with, and what we can do to help them. So we talked to the kids about another internet safety presentation. We talked to them about that they're like, boy, do we have to listen to this all over again. My mom's been been on me the whole time, but we talked to them about it isn't so much what you know or you don't know, it's what the other person next to you knows or doesn't know. If you know everything about it, the person sitting next to you probably doesn't, and you need to help that person. As kids, they need to watch over one another, they need to step up and bring to the table something where they can support one another. So we talked to them about just because you're very wise with the internet doesn't mean your friends all are. So it's good for you to have more knowledge about what to watch for and what to be thinking about when you enter the social networking world. So we talked to them about their online life. What does your online life look like? And this is a good point where I always ask them, how many of you are on the internet and the social networking, and they all raise their hands. And then I always ask them, how many of you have parents who are on social networking and do Facebook or Kik or anything like that? And they all raise their hands. And we look around, and then I said, now how many of you think that you're quite a bit smarter than your parents on social networking sites? And every hand goes up. And the deal is, that's the honest truth. They are better. Kids are growing up with this. We're learning it as we go along, and it's just a natural thing. There's very few weeks of the year that go by that I don't learn of a new app or a new get into somewhere that I didn't even know existed anymore. And so it's an ongoing learning thing. And what they know is just rolling them right through from one to the other. So it's a good point to talk about what's your online life look like. And when we start talking about that, then I ask them, if somebody just read your online life, somebody read your social networking, what would they think of you? What kind of person would that make them think you are? And that's where we start getting into some issues. When we talk about what our young people are doing, when we talk about risky behaviors, we're looking at people who are looking at them. So our young kids are sending the rude messages, putting things out there that are mean. They don't regret being mean or nasty on the internet because it's not face to face. And all I had to do was hit a button, and now it's gone. And haha, it's kind of funny. And we do sharing of photos. Just this week, we had 2 different situations where a mom said, my kid's got these pictures on his phone. I don't know where he got them from, but I took them all off. I crossed them all off, but I'm not sure where he's getting these from. And they're nobody I recognize. So we're investigating that. So is her son getting these pictures from somewhere throughout the world, or is he creating these pictures on his own? So it takes a lot of man hours once we start to figure out what these kids are doing. But every time you look at these, when we have these, we talk about kids that visit adult websites. And so what I'm thinking as an officer is there's people out there watching you and watching what you're watching. So if you're visiting adult websites, I know that's what you like. If you're talking about adult subjects, I know how to get into your world. I know how to bring something up to you that we can make a connection on. I'm always worried about the groomer here. Not so much at this point where we're working with one another, we're sending pictures back and forth with one another, but somebody else is watching this. And people out there are watching these things on a regular basis. And so what kind of world are you creating? What kind of picture are you drawing of yourself for the person that's watching you? We ask the kids always, which one of these is your online predator? Which one is most likely to be your online predator? I've got to tell you, I've got and usually I'm up in front of class like this, and they said, well, officer, obviously it's number 3, and I said, why would that be? Well, he's the old guy with glasses. I said, yeah, thanks. I'm the oldest guy in the room, and I got glasses on, so we had a little bit of fun with that. But that's the mindset, and that is the mindset, the dirty old man type of mindset. The real answer is that it could be any one of those 4. That you just don't know what the online predator is or who they are, what age they are. There are some similarities we'll talk about, but you have to be aware of everyone because really you don't know anyone out there. So when we do recognize them, when we do locate them, they are usually male. Not always, but they are usually male. But they're honest about being adults, and that's where we start this trigger with these young kids, is they're honest about being adults because they don't have to lie, because they just read a lot of different things on my kid's website about he wants to be an adult, he wants to visit adult websites, he wants to talk about adult things, and he wishes his parents would treat him more older and give him credit for being 14 and not treat him like he's 6. So all of this is out there, and our online predator says, I'm an adult and I think you're very mature for your age. You sound much more mature than other people I know that are your age. So the grooming starts. They target females and males. There's not a difference in that much at all. Our victim percentage would be very, very minimal as far as the difference goes. So they target both females and males, and they're very clear about their intentions. I want to be your friend. I just want to be your friend. I want to have someone to talk to. I want you to have someone to talk to. And I want you to feel comfortable with me. Because I really don't have much to talk to, many people to talk to either. And I want to be your friend. And then, again, they're attracted by certain behaviors. We go back to that backside. What kind of behaviors am I attracted to? I'm attracted to young kids who are visiting adult websites. I'm attracted to young kids who wish they were older or wish they were treated older. And they want respect. I'm willing to give them respect. A groomer will set up and work very hard to take this person's bio, if you will, from his social networking and then start to work a storyline that you and I can be friends in. So when we look at the predator, there's nothing that is where we can't decipher one or the other to say that they are this way or they are that way. But we have some clear identities as far as their actions. And when we start to see it, we can see the grooming process start immediately. So when we talk about males versus females, this story is about two different males who were groomed to the point where they agreed to meet online. And we have quite a conversation with young kids about not meeting online. We have people in Bemidji, we have many cases in Bemidji where they have agreed to go meet online. We have one young man missing right now that we're afraid probably wanted to meet someone online, and we don't know that he did or he didn't. I've had cases where we've had girls from the middle school stopped in Milwaukee. We got her off the bus in Milwaukee because she was on her way to meet her friend online. He sent the money for her to get there. So this is just a little example of what we see and hear.
It happened to me 5 years ago. My parents were divorcing and things at school and with friends weren't too good. I felt like the world was falling down around me. That's when I met someone online. We would chat about everything in my life. I finally had someone to take my side and see things my way. I had someone to put me first. No matter how much I thought we could trust each other, I knew better than to meet in person with someone I'd met on the internet. But one day, when school was dismissed early, there was someone waiting for me at my front door. I never thought I'd find myself in this situation. I learned the hard way that no matter who you think you're talking to online, there are people out there who can hurt you. It doesn't matter if they're male or female, or if they look a little rough around the edges, or even if they're the most beautiful person. These people exist, online and in the real world.
It happened to me too. I was 14 and someone online sent me a private message. I should have responded, but I messaged back and 7 days later, agreed to be picked up outside of my house at midnight. I was taken to another house and what happened there was terrifying. I'll remember it for the rest of my life. I felt numb and powerless and didn't know what to do. I was too afraid to tell my parents and ashamed of what everyone would think of me. But hiding it was a mistake. I saw the car that I was taking and driving around my neighborhood all summer long. Was I being targeted then? Or was someone else being victimized? I finally decided to tell someone.
I have to live with the decision I made to trust someone I met on the internet.
But the important thing is that I told someone.
I'm not a victim, but a survivor.
So this is what we want. We want to turn young people into being survivors. And part of the problem is at this stage, they feel that they have helped themselves become the victim, and that it's partly their fault or all their fault because they put too much out there. They went online, they met this person, and they don't understand the grooming process that they've been taken through and become the victim of these professional groomers. So we want to get them off of that stage, and we want them to understand that no matter where you're at in this, you're still a victim. And so we as law enforcement, we want them to feel comfortable enough to say, look, this happened. And we want them to come to you. We want them to come to parents about, here's where I got myself into. I sent this picture, I sent this video, I sent whatever, and now this guy's asking to meet me online. And so right away our red flag goes up, and so we want them to start thinking, before this all happens, what is the groomer looking for? So groomers are very good at his job or her job. They work very hard on it. They're monitoring probably 100 different websites or 100 different areas where they can pull out possible victims. And what they're going to do when they start to see the kind of places you like to hang around in on your social networking, they're going to start to hang around there with you. And they're going to throw out a compliment, or they're going to flatter you or try to tell you, you really sound cool, and they're going to work that for a while, little by little, until the messages start going back and forth, and we start to feel like we know one another, and we start to feel like we're friends. And then from that, let me help you out. Let me send you. I'd like to talk to you on the phone. I'd like to talk to you in person. I'd like to hear your voice. You really sound like you must be a really cool person. How about if I send you a phone card or a cell phone? I could send you a cell phone, and then you could use that to call me. How's that? Just give me your address, and I'll send that card. Give me an address, and I'll send that phone. Okay? And by the way, I'm going to send a little something nice along there with it too that I thought maybe you might like. Okay? Eventually, we'll start to discuss adult subjects. Not right away, and not very much at any one time. But I'll throw something out there and get your reaction. And if your reaction is, well, I don't want to look like a little kid, so I'm going to try to react, like that was a cool thing for you to say to me. Well, now we've got one little message going back and forth, and now you're going to be a little less apprehensive next time. Now you're going to be a little less apprehensive to keep that dialogue going in the future. And so, again, this is happening over time, and he or she might be doing this with, several different young people all at one time. These people will spend days on this online working these type of networks. Groomers are going to ask our young people to keep secrets, okay? Keep me and you, don't tell anybody about me, because this will be just our little secret. It'll be just between us what we're talking about. It'll be just between us who I am, and especially your family and friends. I'm going to tell you something, but you know what? Don't tell your mom and dad, because they don't sound like they really respect you for the age that you are. It sounds to me like they're treating you like a little kid, and you're very much more mature than that. It sounds to me like your friends are all kind of a little squirrely, and you just seem more mature than that. You should feel good about yourself, but I'm going to share some things with you, but let's just keep them our secrets. So we're bonding. We're bonding over what we know, what we don't know. We're bonding over our secrets, and we're going to start to turn that family and that friends. I'm isolating here as we go along, so this young person is going to feel like the only one I can turn to is this person online. The only one that really understands me anymore is this person online. And so this again is done over time, but eventually this grooming process starts to take this into where we become bonded. All over social networking, but we're working to the future here. So eventually, I'm missing you, I can't see you enough. I'd sure like to see some pictures of you. Hey, that's a nice pic. How about one with your top down? Just a little, just one for me. I won't show it to anybody. But get these young people to send one picture. Now, what's that young person thinking? When the pressure comes in the future here, that young person again is thinking, I'm the one that did this. I sent that picture. This is my fault. I'm the guilty party here, and my mom and dad are going to kill me. Cops are never going to understand. I'm not telling anybody. So we get that one picture sent. We get one situation like that in order, and then the blackmailing starts. If I get one picture out of somebody, I get many more because we'll work that angle for quite a while. So the groomer's a very, very professional person. This is a job for them, and they use this again over time. These are the things, and we see these when we do get into these investigations. We start to see the grooming process on all of them. It's very evident to us. But if you don't use it and you're in the middle of it, and it's you that's doing this, you don't see it. If you're 12 or 14 and you're being asked to do all this and you're being touted as being older and more mature and you look so beautiful and maybe our young people are down on their luck and not having a bad week or bad month or bad year, they're even more susceptible to these type of grooming products. So what we talk about with kids is this is not your fault, and we explain that to them very strongly. No matter where you are in this process, this is not your fault. These people who are grooming you, who have been online with you, are professionals, and this is not your fault. You were drawn into this and by somebody who was looking to draw you in and victimize you. So no matter where you are in this process, never, ever, ever feel afraid to come to your folks, to your neighbors, whoever it is you feel comfortable with. Find that one person you can talk to and report it, and then we'll go from there. And so it's a process that you have to let young people know that they can work themselves through this, but they have to involve somebody else. We want them to reach out to someone. And so as parents, we say, you need to be that one person that young people can reach out to. We can't be there as law enforcement to do this. We have to do this as a community. It's got to take all of us to get this done. What we tell them instantly to do, and we talk to parents about telling the young people to do, is stop all communication with these people. Don't engage them anymore. Block them from any contact with you, and never meet them offline. Never meet with them in person. Never meet them anywhere. And we'll talk about that some more. And then again, tell a trusted adult, no matter who it is you can find. Maybe you wouldn't feel comfortable talking to your folks. Maybe you got an older brother or sister. Maybe there's a neighbor. Maybe your friend's mom and dad you'd feel better with. It doesn't matter. You need to tell an adult so that adult can calm you down and get the proper help that you need. So we tell people, anybody that sends you adult messages, you're a child, and anybody that sends you adult messages, we want to report it. Anybody that talks about adult subjects or wants to meet you offline, these are red flags for us. And the deal is they are just doing this with you, and so we might already have open cases on these people, and he or she's requesting you to become another victim. And so everything that you tell us, everything you put in there, might be only one thing to you, but to us, it's a whole category of things that we're working on. So, and we talk about the cyber tip line and what will happen from there. That's the one for the national tip line, and then it goes to the state of Minnesota through BCA. BCA contacts the local departments and says, look, you got a predator in your area. We've narrowed it down to this area. His address comes from your place. So we'll work it that way. And then we just took one down in Walker last week, doing the same thing. And so we find that on a regular basis. So then we go with this presentation, we go into putting out there more than we should. Once we've instructed the kids that it's not your fault, and you're being groomed by people who are are out there to groom you and out there to victimize you, we talk about, but what should you put out there? What shouldn't you put out there? How much is too much information? Not just for the groomer situation, but also amongst your friends and amongst people that you don't want to know all that stuff. So we talk about online information spreads to a lot of people. It's not like the note passed from one desk to another and the teacher gets it and now 3 people have seen what's on that note. It's once you hit the send button, it's gone. You send a picture and it gets, handed around to the locker room. That's one thing, but you put it on a phone, it's going everywhere in the world. So it's going to reach people you don't want it to, of course, for sure. And it's permanent. You can't get rid of it. Once you put it on your phone, once you send it to social media, anybody can get a hold of it. And we've got people that can go through phones and pull just about anything out of there. Yes, sir?
How often do you find young people who are actually excited about that? They're flattered that thousands of people will look at their picture, for example.
Well, we see that more from the standpoint that I guess I don't know to say that they want that. I guess I haven't ever seen that where they wanted to. They want their picture out there for everybody to see. It's usually the boyfriend-girlfriend thing. And today we're boyfriend-girlfriend, tomorrow we're not, and oh my gosh, now he's got my picture. What am I going to do with this? Okay. That's usually what we're dealing with from a school standpoint. And working within as far as over the state and the region, most of it then becomes the groomer situation.
Okay.
So we talk about what you put out there and how it stays out there and whatnot.
Exactly.
So this is a good little video, and when you think about grooming, think about what these kids have out there to see. What this person, this gentleman with 6 clicks, was able to find out about these people, and think about what the groomer would use in here in order to create a better relationship with any one of these victims, if you will.
So this entire experiment rests on the idea that people post a lot of information online without really thinking about what that means, especially teens. So I want to put it right in their faces. This is how much I can find out about you in just 6 clicks. And I want them to ask, how much am I really comfortable sharing online? We'll see. I'm always online, so it wouldn't be this big shocker to find any dirt on me. It's nothing too bad, I'm sure.
You see this phone? It is always with me, and I'm always online. Oh, it's my boyfriend. Can I get this?
Yeah, I use the internet just as much as anybody else. I got nothing to hide. I'm fine.
Oh yeah. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. I'm there. I post everything online. Everything.
Look, I don't have time to be online. I have track, homework, family game night, dance, and with all of that going on, you want me to tweet about what I had for dinner?
So, you all remember the deal. You agreed to accept my friend request on Facebook, and from there I had just 6 clicks to find out as much as I could about you. Well, today is show and tell, so let's get started. Here's lucky number 1. I almost forgot.
Ponies! These are my favorite. How'd you know?
Oh, it was the answer to question number 16 on the 20 things you didn't know about me quiz on Facebook last year.
Huh. I don't even remember that.
So in addition to your favorite childhood toy, I also know your favorite books, movies, TV shows. Nothing too serious until... You might not be happy to hear this, but your mom has decided not to give you those 5-inch stilettos you wanted.
But I have to have those! Wait, I didn't write about that.
No, you didn't, but your mom did. And the email address she has linked to her Facebook account is the same one she uses for her mommy blog.
Her what?
Yeah, she has a great mommy blog, very popular. There was this hysterical entry a couple weeks ago about her dandruff.
Ooh.
Anyway, she was writing about the shoes. She's decided they're just too old for you.
What's the first gift that the groomer's gonna send her?
What? What's that? I mean, I know what I post online, and I'm fine with it. Ponies? Yeah, big deal. But when my mother blogs about me, that is not okay.
Next up, Nick. So should I call you Captain Chicken Vomit?
Ew.
What's wrong with that? That is you, right? Captain Chicken Vomit is one of your game attacks?
Yeah, I thought you were really using Facebook. How did you even find that?
Oh, I said I had 6 clicks. I didn't say all 6 had to be on Facebook. But this was easy to find. All I did was Google your email address. What was a little harder to find was this. You used that same gamer tag as your profile on this music site. And it looks like your favorite playlist includes songs from 90s boy bands.
Dude, that's not cool.
Your personal favorite appears to be Feeling You. You played it a total of 76 times.
That was for this girl. Oh, she hangs
Does
out
she exist?
sometimes. That wasn't for me. I didn't listen to that. Look, I don't listen to cheesy boy bands, okay? I don't. He found a few accounts online. It's no big deal. Those weren't my playlists.
So, Will, you were a bit of a challenge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is it.
You don't seem to spend much time online.
Get some friends, man.
Do you have any trace of you on Instagram or Twitter? Anything, really.
Dude, you don't exist.
It's called having a life. Found exactly what I thought I'd find. Absolutely nothing. That's how I like it.
My turn. So, what'd you find out?
Well, you are quite the open book. It's like your entire life is documented online. And it wasn't hard to find all of your accounts. Here we see some of your many sketches. And this album, I found a picture of everything you ate last month.
Yeah, I was experimenting with food blogging.
Here we have a list of every single place you checked into just in the last week, but I've got a list going back to last year.
Yep, I always check in.
Speaking of which, 8 months ago you tried a goat's milk smoothie with your friend Nate. She loved it, but you said it made you, and I quote, BFFs with my toilet for over an hour.
Yeah, some people think I overshare. That's me. I don't do anything.
Message. I like the next one.
Yeah. Well, there was just one more, the kid with the glasses, and they are able to talk to him because he's cheating on his girlfriend with her best friend, and he's kept them separate, he thinks, but this guy was able to get into both of them and figure that out. But and so the idea behind that is what you put out there again helps create who you are. Whether you want to be that person or not, but what you try to be and try to create out there, whether you are that person or not, is being seen, being heard. Sidebar from this, when we showed this in one of the pods last spring in 8th grade, the teacher ahead of time went on Facebook and just looked at all of the kids that she had in her classes. And in each of the 4 hours that I taught in that day, there was at least one in every hour, and there was 3 in 2 of the hours who had put on their Facebook pages were that they were going to college at BSU. So they were BSU students. And that's, again, to want to look older, feel older, act older, and be seen as older, and what a better tool for the groomer to use than to jump right in on that. And not too hard to figure out your schedule, not too hard to figure out. You talk about, I can't wait to get out of class at, last hour of the day, out by 3:15, all this kind of thing. So you can kind of start to see who these people are and where they go to school, but yet they had put on there that they were BSU students. And they were all females, by the way. So we worry about that kind of stuff. And that's just what that was all about, is with just 6 clicks, this gentleman who wasn't really trying to investigate them, if you will, was able to find all that out about them. And so it makes us nervous.
Sorry to keep asking questions.
No.
Are there any repercussions for Instagram, Facebook, the makers of these software? Do they have any culpability or liability? Or are they partnering with law enforcement in a helpful way with some of these investigations?
It's been tried to hold them at bay, that they are culpable but they've got a lot more attorneys than we do, and it's very clear you should not be on Facebook unless you're a certain age. You shouldn't be on all this type of thing. And so, and as far as them working with us, most of them are locking us down and locking us out just as quick as they can. We get pretty good help out of the Instagram accounts, but they are gone so fast that by the time we hear about it, it's been deleted at their server. So we don't, there isn't anything we could even go back and find. And each one's a little different that way, the time that we have to get back into it. But for the most part, it's pretty short term. Facebook's a longer term, and they'll work with us, but usually only if we haven't have a warrant, So your personal information you put out there, again, your school schedule, your passwords, your phone numbers, what are you putting out there? Change them up. Maybe not for young people, we put this out too much, but high school, they're getting more into, going to college and getting their financial stuff. So there's connections between what they really should be doing online to get ready for life and what they were doing or are doing online to just have fun. And that's what we worry about, because those connections start to be made by the people who are looking for it. We advise them, have different passwords for each account. Use privacy settings. Remember who it is you friend. Make sure you're friending only the people that you know. Lock up or look for lock symbols, and don't share other people's personal information. And we talk about don't share passwords. In the years I've been at the school, we worked really hard. They would share their lockers with each other, locker combinations, because they were in love today. And then next week they're not in love anymore, and now they've got my locker comms, so we switch their locker comms, or they're breaking into my locker and leaving bad things, notes in my locker. That was 20 years ago. Now they share their passwords, because if you don't share your password with me, it means you really don't love me, and you don't trust me. So then they share their passwords, and then of course in 3 days we aren't friends anymore, and now he got my password, and what am I going to do about this? Sure you can change it, but then you got to explain to your mom why you changed it and all that stuff. And by that time, who knows what's happened to it and where it's been sent off to. So again, what you share otherwise, yeah.
So there's online, you can save all your passwords on one password account.
Yep.
Are those things that you tend to say don't do that kind of stuff? Because what's access? Can people get access to?
Right. I tend not to do that just for that reason. I don't know if I trust the fact that if they get on anything of mine, why can't they get on everything of mine? And much like the gentleman with the 6 clicks, I'm not sure that there's not something out there that's going to dispatch me through. And I'm in 2 different governments that both make me change every 3 months, and not to mention my home stuff, and I'm just not that savvy with it all, so I've got a handwritten note at home, and it's all written on there, because that's as good as that can do. So I would love it if I could put something on there that I would trust, but I'm sure there are people that do that, but so. Talking to kids about what you put on there, inappropriate conduct. Again, what vision of yourself are you creating for anybody out there that's going to see this stuff? If you're a young kid, you're drinking beer. We talk a lot about the very nice athletes that have gone bad because, or gotten hurt, or got removed from the team because they were in a group party, they weren't using, but a picture got taken and there's beer and beverages laying around, and you can't be there, guilt by association. So we talk about who's taking pictures of you, who's posting pictures of you, and what kind of pictures are you taking or letting being taken of yourself. Again, you're creating an image of yourself. You're revealing or suggestive images of yourself. People know who you are then. Profanity. Again, something more for the groomer to work on, something more for the groomer to take into account. So before you put on there, ask yourself, and that's mine, is do I like what this says about me? When I apply for colleges, is this what I want them to see? Is this what I want them to look at? When I try to get a job, is this going to affect me in a negative way? That's really come up big in the last 10 years. You can't get a job out there unless you give all your online information, and they're gonna go through it. It's the easiest way to do background checks on people, to see what kind of offline, when you're not in the spotlight, what kind of life do you live? And so we talk to kids about that. Hard to do, hard to get them to think that far ahead now at 8th grade, but at the same time frame. You got to start thinking about that now. We talk to kids all the time about that, even in the Dare program. I don't know that it's even fair that young kids should have to worry about all this at this age, but it's the world we're in right now, and so we've got to put all the information out we can and make them think and make them understand so that they can at least feel comfortable enough to say, look, I think I might have put something out there that, isn't going to look good, and could you help me? Again, who do they go to for help? So, sexting is an issue that we deal with quite a bit. I would say the sexting issue has become a problem because, again, it's the boyfriend-girlfriend thing. I want to impress you. I want to impress my boyfriend. Sometimes I just don't really care. And this goes across all gamuts of studious, athletic, whatever gamut you want to go across. Everybody's getting involved in this to some extent in that age group of kids. So this video shows pretty much perfect what happens when you put that photo out there. Where does it end up? Someone's telling me that's her little brother. That's her mother. And that's number 3 up on that first screen. That's the dirty old man with the glasses that we were talking about. And there it is. She's out there to him, and off we go. So that's very, very true in how we get involved in a lot of investigations at this age, at this stage. One person sends a picture, and then I've got to share it, and I've got to share it, and I had to share it. I just sent it to one friend, but then that friend sent it to 4 more. And every one of them that possesses it is in possession of child pornography. And what's worse is every one of them that sends it is guilty of sending child pornography. And so where are we going to go with this as a society and as a group? What can we do? What do we want to do? That's a lot of question that we have right now. Because we can't arrest our way out of all this stuff. We need to educate our way out of this and help our kids out of this, because just saying you're guilty now, you're a felon, that doesn't do us any good. This is still going to happen. So we need to find out how we're going to control this or educate people to control it themselves. So that's an area where I spend a lot of time with both parents and kids. Understanding that it gets lost or misplaced, be passed around without your permission, used to bully you, blackmail you, and we'll get to that in just a sec, and of course get you in trouble. So a lot of bullying, a lot of blackmail takes off on deals like this. The girls by the lockers, they've got something on this girl. The guys down the hall, they've got something on this girl.
2 minutes.
Okay? And so cyberbullying takes off. And as a result of that, cyberbullying takes off, spreading rumors, posting mean comments online. And this is where I'll leave you then. This will take us to the end. But this is a true story. And you'll have to read these. Amanda wrote herself a story here and made her own video for all of us to see.
So lucky, so strong, so proud.
Sing to you just one time. Song for my heart so big. God wouldn't let it live. May angels lead you in. Hear you weep, my friends. I'm sleepless ghost, the sleepless ghost. May angels lead you in. May angels lead you
And the ending to that is just a couple days after she made that video, she did successfully finally kill herself. The stories go on and on. We can find many different stories just like that. And when she talks about kids yelling, "That's it, just hit her, beat her already," and it's a group mentality at that point, and when we put ourselves out there to be ganged up on, to give ammunition, if you will, to the people who want to treat us like that, it happens. And so that is a video that gets to me all the time, but it's the reality of it, the truth in it is what gets me, I think, because there's many stories out there like that. So, and I'm out of time, but there's just a few slides left about the cyberbullying and how kids do it and what they're into. But it's been a pleasure to be here. I hope we can do more of these. I know my chief is on me to get one of these for the parents down at the LEC. I'm going to try to do that here in April, and just open it up to anybody that wants to show up. I think there's people out there, parents out there, that quite honestly don't have a clue what's going on in our kids' lives. Every kid I know has a phone, and they're all active with them. And I don't think, I guess I didn't until about 15 years ago realize this was going to be a problem, and it is. They're smarter than we are with it, and we need to do something to help them. Yes.
Can the kids that were bullying her be prosecuted? Just for their words, not just...
They were in this case. There was some prosecution done. I don't know what the results of the case was. We've done some of that when it's led to that. Within the school, we can, if the situation is that we deal every single day, I know every single day, we deal with bullying situations that are happening over their phones and their texts and so over cyber, and they're happening on Friday night at 2 in the morning and Saturday afternoon and Sunday, and then all week long in the evenings at home, and then it all pours into our schools, and it makes for a less than, yeah.
So much.
Right, so then the school district we've developed some pretty good policy about bullying that goes on out there, but it's brought into here, and it affects the education of the person being bullied. They've got some pretty good policy, so they'll deal with it on a school standpoint, and then if we can show that it fits into one of the legal categories, we'll do some follow-up on it. And sometimes it's dealt with better in the school than it is in the legal system, so we try to work them both together.
What can churches or communities do to support people like, victims like that who have made a mistake but are, just paying for it forever? What can they do to give them a place to go, someone to support them, to say, you know what? That's a lot of people are having.
The next seminar, I think, addresses that. The next one in here is a community resource panel involving Evergreen, suicide prevention, and the support within reach, which deals with sexual violence. So some of the resources that are there for churches in these crazy, drastic things to go, what do we do? Okay. In your community, like David, your area, check with your school system, check with your police department, the Dare officer in your region doing this presentation. Bemidji might be one of the only that's added this piece, but this whole presentation is online. So It's in the secret. We want to spread it.
Right.
Right?
Yep. Give it up.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.